ancestors. You know what? We are the answer to the prayers and dreams of all the ancestors who jumped the ship, were raped, killed, beaten, all the things that they went through for us to be here now. We are their legacy. That's something I think we should take a moment to just recognize the ancestors without whom we would not be here.
Let's do that.
In addition, we need to acknowledge the Canarsie people upon whose stolen land we're now standing. In fact, every place that people walk in the entire North and South America continent was native land. It's stolen land. That's the reality that we need never to forget.
Should we take a moment?
Absolutely.
I so appreciate everything that you have to offer, Mentor.
You.
And it is so wonderful to be here with you.
Oh, yeah. You know, what makes me proud and grateful is that I have two proteges with me.
Really? I'm not the only one?
My co-MC and our stage manager, Jawan Sajani.
Oh, that guy over there.
That guy over there. And you know what makes me feel good is that as a leader, I know that it's my responsibility to look for other leaders and to give them everything that I have. And just like the ancestors gave it to me, I pass it on to you.
And I have felt every bit of it. And thank you. And with that, I think we just got the cue that we are live. So broadcasting live from Brooklyn, New York, it is Gala night. And just so you all know, Reginald and I can be in close proximity with one another because we have been COVID tested and approved.
Many times COVID tested on my part.
Yes. So to all of you, hello everyone, and welcome to Vocal New York's annual gala. One more time. Yes. And I speak for the entire Vocal family when I say thank you. Thank you to every ally and organizational partner who joined us tonight, and to everyone who could not be here, but do you know, even in their absence, they still contributed to our cause, Reginald. Wow. Yes, yes. And so it has been a long and trying year. So everyone's love and support is so appreciated, even more during these challenging times. And I want to include the support of our elected officials who have shown up tonight.
Oh, really?
Yes, so I want to give a shout out to Senator Gustavo Rivera.
Gustavo!
Yes, does that name ring a bell?
Yeah, Gustavo Rivera.
Yes, he is a progressive.
From the Boogie Bronx.
Yes, he is.
Boogie down, but that's what he does.
But we have felt his power even in Rochester, New York, because he is a progressive champ in the Senate who fights for our communities impacted by the drug war and for the health of all New Yorkers.
All right now.
Yeah, so thank you for being here. We want to give a shout out to Assembly Member Dan Port. Another name ring a bell for you?
Longtime supporter.
Yes, he's a champion on our criminal justice issues and the lead sponsor of our wrongful convictions bill.
Oh, wow.
Yes, kudos.
Yeah, right.
Yes, now also Assembly Member Yulin Yao, a champion in the legislature for fighting for radical progress, Reginald, for a fair economy and a democracy for all. So shout out to each and every one of you tuning in tonight, and to our elected officials for your undying and unyielding support.
Well, and I'm Reginald Thomas Brown, a Vocal New York leader and board member, and the other MC for tonight. It is my pleasure to announce that we are gathered to celebrate not just the work that we've done over the years, but the state of the new beginning, or the start of new beginning. Today, we launch our capital campaign for a permanent home called Justice, Compassion, and Love. That's what we work out of justice, out of compassion, and out of love. As you're with us tonight, please use hashtag Vocal Gala 2020 exclamation point, all one word, on your social media platform. Tweet that thing out everywhere, folks. Let everybody know what's going on here.
That's right. All you tweeters out there, tweet away. So just a little history, Reginald. So Vocal New York is formerly known as New York City AIDS Housing Network.
Or
and was
AKA NICAN.
NICAN,
Yeah,
yes,
NICAN.
and was founded in 1999. Were you there?
No, I wasn't there then. I was here, but not here.
So you were around.
Yes, but not here.
Yes. So they were founded in 1999, but moved into our current home here in Brooklyn, New York at 80A 4th Avenue, roughly about 20 years ago.
That's 2 decades.
2 decades. And for the past 2 decades, we have created a space of safety, learning, and support in our drop-in center for those continuously shunned and ignored by the ones who are supposed to represent us.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
The others, the people that nobody wants to be around, the losers.
Well, you know what? Send them our way and we make leaders.
I know that's
yes.
Right. I know that's
So
right.
for some, our space serves as a second home, while for others, our little space by the Barclays is the only true home they know. Our services team have provided harm reduction services to thousands in our neighborhoods, and friends right here.
Right here.
Right here in the
Right
Boogie
here.
Down Brooklyn, yes. And at the same time, our current space has served as a headquarters for a powerful movement, decades in the making. Our countless victories stem from hours of strategic debate and deliberation. Yes, inside the small rooms of our office space, community leaders and organizers have come together and generated the impactful and radical actions that have generated reality-changing legislation.
Yes.
Yes. For example, the 30% rent cap for people living with HIV and AIDS.
And you know what? It's a 30% rent cap that I helped pass because I was evicted from my apartment. But that eviction is what led me to my luxury apartment in Manhattan. Who would have thought that getting evicted would have done that? But you see, when I got evicted, I was hurt and I was angry, but I turned my pain into power.
Pain into power.
Pain into power. That's what we do. We take our pain, we harness it, and we throw it right back at them.
Was that one of the times that you've been arrested? How many times have you been arrested?
I've been arrested
for the cause?
6 times. 3 times for housing and 3 times for healthcare. Number 1, because I've been evicted. And number 2, because I'm a person who's been living with who AIDS has lived with for the last 34 years.
Wow.
34 years. Yeah. You know, the doctor told me I had to get my affairs in order because I had 2 years to live. But you know what? I decided then and there, whether I have 2 days or 2 minutes, I'm going to live until I die. All right. And that was 34 years ago, last August 15th.
And that's what you mean when you say from pain
to power.
To power, all right. And those same sustained efforts that led to the mobilization of thousands and the expansion into New York State. Expanded throughout New York State. With chapters in Westchester, Albany, Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, and none of this could have been possible without our home to return to.
Yeah, but you know, unfortunately, there are those who do not know or care about the life-saving work that we do on a daily basis. After 20 years of building a home to relocate, due to the devastating effects of capitalist greed and gentrification. You know what? We're getting kicked out of this place. We even offered to buy the place, but the greedy developers went in and bought it from under us. They didn't want to do it. So you know what? So, okay, well, we turn our pain into power as we continue to move. Beginning next year, we will no longer be in our little home at 80A 4th Avenue, but if you know Vocal, then you also know that we will not be stopped because all we do is win.
All we do is what?
All we do is win.
All we do is what?
All we do is win for the last 21 years. All we've done is win, either locally or in Albany. I'm happy to announce that we have secured a new location that is bigger and better, and a new home for justice, compassion, and love, which will allow greater harm reduction services, hepatitis C testing and treatment, wider outreach in New York City. It will also provide improved meeting ability for our union leaders and general membership. The work that we do will only get stronger with your support through our capital campaign. This new home will be our permanent home for our sustained movement. As we look forward to a brighter future, it is important to recognize some highlights of our work during COVID-19. Here are some of our most recent victories.
Yeah, so before we move in and start talking about our recent victories, I want to give a shout out, since we're talking about housing, to Assembly Member Harvey Epstein, who has shown up here for our gala.
Yes.
He knows that housing is healthcare and has been with us in our housing justice fights,
Wow.
Reginald.
Yeah.
Yes, and also a shout out to Assembly Member Dick Godfrey, also a champion in healthcare for all, and he has led the way to fund overdose prevention, Hep C prevention, and so much more.
And he was the author of our medical marijuana. I mean, he's been doing a lot of stuff for us.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of stuff for us.
Come on.
You know what? He's always taken the unpopular stance because he knows it's the right stance.
And can I tell you that when I was running for office, I wanted to know more about the New York State Health Act, and I tapped into him, and he met with me and my team for an entire hour talking about the New York State Health Act.
And you're not even one of his constituents.
Not at all.
That's how
he
real
made
he
the
is.
time.
That's
yes.
how real he is.
But that's also the power of vote.
Oh, yes.
And our influence.
Oh, yes.
Come on now.
Oh, yes.
So getting back to our victories in COVID-19. So throughout COVID-19, we continued our 2020 census outreach program, which was called Vocal Counts, dedicated to educating the most vulnerable populations on the importance of the census and having as many people as possible to complete it. So please remember, if you have not completed your census.
Well, you're looking at the census
done.
workers. So,
Right.
in fact, I have 2 appointments already waiting for me tomorrow. These are people who either have not done it or they haven't done it correctly, but I'm going to go after them and tell them that anytime you don't fill out your census, you're leaving money on the table. And that ain't right.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
And we do not leave money on the table.
We do not leave money on the table because money is power.
That's right.
Just like people are power.
Yes.
But you know what? Together with our allies, we launched Homeless Can't Stay Home campaign this year, stepping up in ways our mayor has continually failed to. Not only have we helped place individuals into hotel rooms during the height of COVID, we demanded that de Blasio open 30,000 hotel rooms for all unstably housed people who need a safe room. But it's only right. I live in the Times Square area. You know how many hotels, many multi-room, 1,000-room hotels are sitting empty? Empty. Think if they had put people in there, those people who work in those hotels would be working. The hotels would be making some kind of money, but instead of sitting there, they're empty. That is a sin. That people who need housing are not able to get into these buildings that are empty. But see, that's a lack of political will. That's a lack of political will on the part of New York City and Mayor de Blasio in particular.
Well, you know what? We have some up and coming elected officials ready to take their place and make some changes on behalf of the people. And one of those newly elects have just shown up to support us. So let us welcome newly elected Assembly Member Jessica Gonzalez Rojas. And she has been fighting like hell with us to decriminalize sex workers.
I know that's right. Because you know what? Sex work is work.
Pain to power.
Sex work is work.
Look, my mama always told me, use what you have.
Well, I know that's right.
Do I need to finish?
Well, no, I get the drift.
Yeah.
And I've used what I've had when necessary. Well, now, keep it real.
Come on. All righty. So, let's talk about our fearless organizers. And one of them you mentioned as your protege doing some backstage production, but I'm hoping that he's going to peek his head over around here for a minute as we talk about our fearless organizers who sparked a historical and one of the largest occupations that New York City has seen since Occupy Wall Street. Come on over here, Jawanza. Yes, you know him, you love him, Jawanza Williams. So in response to the horrendous attacks on Black and brown folks by the NYPD, Vocal New York initiated a week-long Occupy City Hall demanding that the city slash NYPD by at least $1 billion this year alone. You know him, you love him. Give it up for Jawanza.
All right.
Yes,
These
and
are my
the
two
other
folks.
organizers.
These are my two
Yes.
folks. These are my two folks.
I don't know how.
Okay, this month, working with our allies at Take Root, we released a comprehensive report illuminating the rampant discrimination against New Yorkers without homes who use the city's rental assistance programs. The report is entitled Vouchers to Nowhere, How Source of Income Discrimination Happens and the Policies That Can Fix It.
Well, I want to take a moment also to recognize our political director and the lead that she has taken in our sister C4 organization, Paulette Sultani.
Oh, yeah, Paulette.
Yes.
Paulette.
Political. Paulette is our political director for our C4 sister organization,
right.
Vocal Action
Vocal
Fund.
Action
And
Fund.
I'm going to tell you, at least 3 times a week, I get a harassing text, remind leaders to show up for the VA. And how, because she speaks to the importance of getting politically involved. And actually, they endorsed my own campaign for New York State Senate of District 61. And although I narrowly lost during the primary election, 141 votes after running in 3 counties.
I'm so proud of you.
From pain to power, from the ground into running for office. But that's the power that Vocal bestowed upon me. And I'm going to tell you, I love my Vocal family.
All right.
Yeah, so although I narrowly lost during the primary election, my impressive showing has only proven what many are realizing to be true, Reginald. Western New York and America as a whole are leaning towards progressive, left-leaning leadership. And more importantly, it will be Black women, just like myself, who will successfully and flawlessly fulfill that role.
Flawlessly. As an essential organization, our direct services team continued to provide instrumental harm reduction services throughout the pandemic. You know what? I came to Brooklyn a couple of times during the pandemic, and I stopped by to just see how the services team was going, just to let them know that I appreciated what they were doing. Yeah, because I knew how important that was. In fact, they expanded their usual life-saving services to include providing food, PPE, and donating clothing at the height of our city's lockdown.
Yes.
Both from our office and during continued community outreach. A hearty round of applause for all of our whole staff who put so much work in this past year.
Not to mention the life-saving. I mean, they are literally out there saving lives. Literally.
For real. Not just talking about, just real. You're actually out there.
All right.
Where the people are.
Yes.
Where those people that nobody wants to be around are. Those are our people. Because we have love, compassion, and justice. That's what we do.
I know. And it's been an exciting year, but while we celebrate what we've gained, it is also important to note what we've lost. And this year has been one of the most dreadful times for all of us. As we approach the election, it has become more and more apparent that we are living under a fascist administration that will crush us if we allow it. If we allow it. And that, coupled with the heartbreaking effects of this pandemic, has left most of us to deal with the depressive reality of our military state while processing the sudden deaths of our family and friends. And so let's take a moment of silence to recognize those that we have lost in the midst of COVID.
If the sickness, death, and mental anguish of COVID wasn't bad enough, this pandemic forced us to view the haunting reality that Black people in America are under a state of genocidal attack. We lost so many Black lives to systems of policing and prison, and even more within our own neighborhoods, due to the deadly effects of patriarchy and homophobia. It is not an exaggeration to say that 2020 is the year of Black weeping hearts and mourning ancestors, just those ancestors that we just called on, who are looking at this and seeing this. I know they're mourning, but also they're looking at us who are still here to carry on what they started.
That's heavy. We're also mourning the loss of our beloved sister, Miss Elizabeth Owens. Thank you to everyone who was able to attend her memorial this past Saturday. Please join us in a moment of silence for the Black men, women, trans, and queer lives lost as our loved ones have been taken away. We can never have too many moments of silence.
People always told me, you got to be a little more quiet. You're a little too loud. But when I get around vocal, I can make all the noise I like.
They got the first law passed just before I came in, and that was Local Law 49, which guarantees everybody the right to emergency housing. NICAN, which eventually became Vocal, was one of the few agencies that didn't just worry about people with HIV. They also worried about people that were homeless. They also worried about people that were still using. They also worried about people that were being shortchanged by the criminal justice system.
It's not just on drugs. They do other things for the community.
Housing for all. Drop the box, legalizing marijuana, close Rikers Island, ending solitary confinement, period.
It's not talk, it's not just meetings. It's like, get up and do something.
The mayor was right in the middle of stretching at this Brooklyn YMCA when he was greeted by this woman.
In your affordable housing program, only 5% will go to house the homeless.
Flowers says she organized this Friday protest with Vocal NYC.
It's cool to have people from Harvard and Yale and some doctor from some prestigious medical school, but it's nothing more rewarding when you hear it from the people who's directly impacted.
Politicians don't know what it's like to be homeless. Politicians don't know what it's like to be put in jail for a crime you didn't commit. Politicians have never done drugs, or should I say they never did drugs and got caught.
You have a drug addiction, this is just like any other disease. And because of that, that doesn't make you who you are.
I started losing friends from fentanyl. They started dying around me. So that's when I got involved with Vocal.
When I started working in vocals, I said, wow, I'm finally doing something I like, and it's such a good feeling. I have saved like 8 or 9 people from a full overdose. Harm reduction means, caring about, human being.
Harm reduction means don't share needles.
I've helped people get tested and get treated.
Vocal brought it to my attention that I can get rid of the Hep C. Now I am Hep C free.
So Vocal is 20 years old. What do you think about that?
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And we're going to do another 20 and another 20 and another 20.
We have a hashtag that says, when we fight, we win.
I don't believe in losing. We win. Even if we have to keep going back there, we win. Don't give up.
We ain't gonna give up.
We can't give up because we're the ones who are actually fighting for what we believe and for people that can stand up. So we're their voices and our voices at the same time.
This past year or so, we have started an upstate downstate coalition.
Vocal now is Vocal Westchester. You got Vocal Albany.
You got a Vocal Washington, Buffalo.
Vocal Syracuse.
Now they can no longer separate us. That was always their tactic, divide and conquer.
One thing about Vocal, all the organizers stick together.
It gives me the confidence to understand and know that just because of where I've been, it doesn't mean that I don't have any power.
I remember the time I was scared to speak. I'm not scared today.
Everyone needs to feel that I'm a citizen, a resident in New York. I vote, my vote counts. And if you don't stand with us, you got to go. You got to go.
What do we want? Housing! What do we want? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down.
That's us. If we don't get it, shut it down. It is with pleasure that I introduce our opening speaker, the amazing Cassandra Frederick. Cassandra is the current executive director of Drug Policy Alliance. Over the years, she has made a large impact on how communities address drug policy by pushing for people's first mindset and advocating for larger state institutional changes such as the decriminalization of drugs and the implementation of safer consumption spaces. Cassandra's ability to move people and minds have not gone unnoticed. She has received numerous awards, including our own Joe Bostic Advocacy Award in 2016. We look forward to the change she will create in the future. Please help me welcome the wonderful, the unbeatable, the don't mess with me, Cassandra Frederick.
Her music.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here. Big shout out and congratulations to Vocal New York for throwing already a dope virtual gala. Kim and Reginald, we would really like a weekly show of y'all because every year we look forward to it. We didn't know how it would translate in this format and it's beautiful. So I want to give a major shout out. That video had me tearing up. Because every single thing in that video is true. Oftentimes you see videos where people big themselves up and organizations have flossy materials and no one's ever seen them, but folks know who Vocal is. And I know this because, you know, Drug Policy Alliance, we are not a grassroots organization. We are a policy advocacy organization, but we get our power and we build our campaigns with organizations like Vocal New York. In fact, you know, it is one of our most exciting and proudest moments for being able to give NYCAN and Vocal one of their first grants to do the organizing that they do. It is a reflection of our movement to build the leaders and to platform the leaders that are supposed to be leading our movement. And so from Drug Policy Alliance, I want to say thank you to Vocal New York for all that you have given us. And I'm so excited for this moment that we're in right now, where Vocal is not taking the issues of capitalism and racism laying down, but are pushing forward and saying, if you don't want us to be here, we will build our own homes. That is actually what this movement is about, recognizing that we don't actually have to operate in what they give us. We get to make our own rules. We get to create our own structures. That is what harm reduction was built on. Last night, I watched an amazing film called Dope is Death. And I got to see Vocal leaders in it, like Terrell Jones, who were in the background talking about the very real ways that Black people, Latinx people, queer people led the movement in the 70s during the first overdose crisis back in the 70s, really pushing, taking over the conversation, moving forward, taking over Lincoln Hospital, but also recognizing that the first time that this nation heard about healthcare for all, it's because drug users pushed that forward. I want to say that again, where politicians are all now talking about single health payer, Medicare for all. It was people who used drugs that realized that we don't just need access to methadone and treatment, we need healthcare, and it should be free, not just for us, but for our families. It was people that use drugs that realized our drug use is politicized, and that we can't just have a conversation about getting access to resources, but that we need a home for us to build our own political analysis. That's what this capital project is about. It's not just for a home for vocal services. It's about building the political analysis and infrastructure in order for our people to be free. That is why we love working with Vocal, because Vocal pushes us. Vocal tells us what we can do, what we can't do. Vocal has told me, girl, we ain't working on that campaign no more because it doesn't meet our members. And what did I do? I switched the campaign, because that's how this work is supposed to be. The amazing thing about Vocal is that first, y'all were ignored. People didn't want to pay attention to you. They let you die. They let you suffer. They couldn't care less. Then they tried to discredit you. They said you were just a ragtag bunch, that you didn't have the political analysis, that you were just people that were always complaining. And then they worked with you. Then all of a sudden, elected officials were trying to be next to you, trying to tell you how much they loved you, how much they wanted to be like you, telling people wear the Vocal hats and the t-shirts and stand behind their signs. And then they got scared of you because you took over City Hall and you told them that they needed to defund the police, that the things that they were doing were not right. And they are still scared of you, and they are supposed to be. We are supposed to interrogate all the things that they think we need to believe are possible. We know what is possible. We know what to push forward. We know what our communities need, and they should act not just in fear, but understanding and respect. They will continue to try to discredit you. They will try to push us forward and act as if what we are saying right now is exactly what they're saying. They're using Vocal talking points right now. They're saying they stand with Vocal. They're saying all these different things because they want to win. But what is true, what is right, is that Vocal members dictate what the win is. And what's amazing about this moment is that they can't knock off Vocal New York City because there's Vocal Buffalo, there's Vocal Albany, there's Vocal Rochester, there's Vocal Long Island. Like, y'all are growing and building, and that shows the strength, the courage, and the permanency of our movement. Our movement cannot be uprooted because they don't even know what the roots are. Because our history doesn't start where NICAN did. Our history started when they stole us, when they stole our bodies, when they took our land. That discipline, that fight, they can't kill it because we don't believe in losing. And that is what Vocal member Carl Stubbs says. It is what I hold to my heart and dear. To the people that we are being honored today, Michael Kink, Miss Flowers, you all embody the true beauty of what Vocal is and what Vocal continues to do. Congratulations. And to everyone that is here, you made the right choice. Vocal is where you want to be. It's who you want to follow. And it is who deserves our undying support, love, and leadership. Thank you, Vocal. We love you so much. I love you so much. I'm in a different role, but we are forever.
Bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Oh, bring me a higher love. Where's that higher love? I keep thinking of bring me higher love. Bring
You know,
I
the
like that.
last time.
I like that.
Listen, I can't calm down from that vibe.
Okay.
I've got to tell you, the last time I shared physical space with Cassandra, we were in the $1 million staircase, and maybe some of you were there. And there were over 1,000 people occupying that space. And there were people on all sides. And she stood in the center of that staircase, looking from every side, shouting one word: power. Yes. Yes. So thank you, Cassandra, for always being as inspiring as you are. And now, yes, and now I have the pleasure of introducing the first honoree of the night. And if you guys were tuned into that video, the one that Cassandra said brought her to tears, our next honoree had a snippet in that video where he was being escorted away in handcuffs for putting his body on the line.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is for that reason and for so many others that I will be introducing our first honoree of the night for the Bob Kohler Award. Goes to no other than Michael Kink.
Michael Kink.
Yes.
You know, he's always in Albany when we're there. Every time we go there, he's there. He comes, he's there, and he smiles. Look at that smile. Look at that smile. He's always there. He's always there. And sometimes he meditates. He sits over in the corner. All this noise is going on, and he is meditating and centering himself. Mike, we love you.
Yes, and he's so deserving. The Bob Kohler Award to Michael Kink. So Bob was our organization's earliest and most ardent supporter, spending almost every night for 2 years monitoring the conditions of HIV positive New Yorkers to ensure they were not left homeless. And Michael Kink is the executive director of the Strong Economy for All Coalition and a veteran in the fight for justice.
Oh, yes.
And he has spent the last 30 years advocating for secured housing and economic well-being for our most marginalized populations in New York State. He has supported Vocal New York in many ways and is always willing, as we saw in that video, willing to put his body on the line. So a big round of applause for the one
and only Michael Kink.
Yes!
I can understand a bleeding child in a broken home. I can understand a young girl out there on her own. I can understand a brother with all hope gone. But can you feel it? Come on. Say do da da do da da do da da do da do da da do da da.
Thank you so much, Reginald and Kim. I am so honored to be here. I appreciate everyone so much, and I'm so glad to be at a vocal party. I have not put on a suit and tie since March, and I'm glad to be here and to be with all of you. I cannot follow Cassandra. I'm going to say my own thing, but there's so many things in what everyone has said so far that is so beautiful about Vocal. I want to talk about community that y'all build. I want to talk about the connection that y'all develop, and I want to talk about the courage that you all demonstrate. The Vocal community made room for like the straight white lawyer guy with the briefcase. And I so appreciate the people of Vocal. I am told that when I worked for Housing Works, I did the first advocacy training for the New York City AIDS Housing Network. And right here on this back porch, earlier this week, last week, we did the training for the Homeless Union, right? And the Vocal community exists on 4th Avenue It will exist at the new home. It exists in Albany and on the streets in New York City, in Washington, all over the country, all over the state. Vocal has built community and made room for people to be together. Developed a connection between people, an electric connection. You saw it in that video. People that need to be together, fighting for survival. And when we all work together in the AIDS movement, when everything is life and death, you build bonds that are different than any other kind of bonds in society. Elizabeth in Albany, the joy in her protest, the action that she brought. In New York City, in jail with Jaron and Jeremy, we did a great strategy chart on decriminalization of marijuana after we meditated. In Washington, in art museums, I saw Nan Golden here, right? Vocal New York won international acclaim for fighting the opioid profiteers and the Sackler family. And even on Zoom, in this great party, this year in the homeless Can't Stay Home campaign, when Paulette and Felix and everyone testified and drove and fought to get people out of the dangerous shelters and into the empty hotels, Vocal built that connection, and Vocal gave everybody courage. Developed courage for people that were homeless and living on the streets and the shelters. Developed courage for people who were struggling with mental illness, in and out of jails, in and out of homeless shelters. The courage from Occupy Wall Street to Occupy City Hall. Vocal dogging Andrew Cuomo around Occupy Wall Street helped get us the first millionaire's tax in 2011, the renewal. And this year, as folks have mentioned, Jawan's leading Occupy City Hall. Again, citywide, statewide, national, international acclaim for courageous actions, stepping up to serve the community and demonstrating that the community that you've built, the connections that you've built, gives everyone who gets anywhere near it the courage. You have the courage to fight and win. You have the courage to fight people who get honored, right? Corey Johnson got honored here a couple of years. Steve Banks got honored here a couple of years ago. Vocal will go everywhere to serve the people in the Vocal community. So I am honored to serve. I say, as the lawyer guy, as the organizer guy, as the provocateur guy, when I'm here on Zoom and I'm talking to the Homeless Union and I see everyone listening, ready to take action, ready to ask questions, that is the deepest opportunity for service that I could ever ask. So I'm grateful to be honored, but I'm more grateful to be a part of the Vocal community and to have been part of the Vocal community for so many years. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes. So thank you, Mike, for your kind words and your support over the decades. And yes, we will always welcome the white lawyer guys in suits.
The white straight lawyer guy. This white straight lawyer guy. I didn't even know that.
All right.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good, though. It's all good.
All right.
He's family.
Yes, he is.
That's what it's family. That's what it is.
Yeah, you saw him in handcuffs.
I know.
Welcome to the family. So, as we present the Joe Bostic and Joe Capistani Award, it is appropriate for us to take a moment and recognize an assembly member who just showed up.
Okay.
Linda Rosenthal.
Oh, yes,
Assembly member Rosenthal.
I hung out with her in Albany.
Really?
Yeah, she's come and spoken at our things. I said, hey, and I can wave at her, and she comes right over.
Well, you can wave at her now.
Oh, okay.
She's out there.
How you doing? Haven't seen you. Good to see you.
Yeah. So Assembly Member Rosenthal is a champion in all of our work and working closely with Jasmine and Liz and their team and the entire users union in our work to ensure people who use drugs are treated with respect and dignity. So we appreciate you showing up, Assembly Member Rosenthal.
Yes.
Everyone wave. So now I proudly present to you the recipient of the Joe Bostic and Joe Capistani Award. And this year's recipient is Evergreen Health. Yes. So Joe and Joe were two of the three founders of our organization. And it was them two, along with Jennifer Flynn Walker, who also continues to support us today.
That's right.
So when it comes to the work of saving lives, the effort and dedication of Evergreen is exemplary. Evergreen.
I like that word, exemplary.
We'll say it again, Reginald.
Exemplary.
One more time, Reginald.
Exemplary.
Yes. So Evergreen serves families in need in Western New York by providing medical, supportive, and behavioral services. They have also gone above and beyond in supporting building community power with Vocal New York. And I will never forget standing outside the Senate chamber and watching Emma Fabian walk away in handcuffs as her leaders and participants cheered her on to say thank you for putting her body on the line. So she not only talks about it, she is about it. Yes. And so they have also gone above and beyond in supporting and building community power with Vocal New York. Our Buffalo chapter is indebted to the support of Evergreen and the support that they willingly and purposefully and intentionally offers us. So tonight we have Emma Fabian, the Senior Director of Harm Reduction at Evergreen, accepting the award. So a round of applause and a big wave and shout out to Emma of Evergreen.
All right, Vocal, wow. Good evening, everyone. I'm just so blown away and humbled to even be a part of one of Vocal's annual galas this evening. My name's Emma Fabian, and I have the pleasure of working with Evergreen Health in Buffalo, New York, in the western part of New York State. And like many organizations who do harm reduction work these days, Evergreen Health was founded over 30 years ago as an agency that primarily worked with people impacted by HIV and AIDS. Now, as Kim mentioned, we provide a variety of medical, behavioral, and supportive services in the Western New York community. And you know, one thing I'm thinking about this evening and that I've always really admired and respected about Vocal New York and our relationship with them is their commitment to building statewide power, not just downstate power, but statewide power and valuing people like us up here in the western part of the state. Our relationship with Vocal probably actually preceded my time with our organization, but I want to just share a short story about how being in this work with Vocal New York has really changed my life and has impacted a lot of the people I work with. Back in the fall of 2016, I went to our president and CEO, Ray Gano, who's a huge champion for this work and I think might actually be on the call this evening. And I said, you know, Ray, I think we got to do more with this harm reduction stuff. I'm getting the sense that harm reduction is more than, it's about more than just providing services. It also seems like harm reduction is about being part of a movement and getting our people involved in that movement and really centering their experience. And so he agreed, of course, and Ray looked at me and he said, you know what, I think it's time I introduce you to my friend Jeremy Saunders at Vocal New York. So sure enough, Jeremy and I met up at a conference in like early November 2016. And he said, after hearing my story, he said, I think we should send an organizer to work with you in Buffalo and Jamestown so that you can start a group with directly impacted people. And then we can work together on advocacy in the future. And that made a whole lot of sense to me at the time, so I agreed, and the rest is history. It's a really beautiful history. But that conversation with Jeremy ended in a way that I'll never forget. Because I took that opportunity to just say, hey, Jeremy, one more thing. This election that's coming up, and this was early November 2016, I said, this election that's coming up and the issues and the concepts being discussed, it has me really concerned about our future and the future of our people. And he looked back at me and he said, you know what, Emma, that's exactly right. And it's just going to mean that our work and our commitment to our people is more important than ever before. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and I'll never forget that. Vocal New York has shown me that we as service providers have a responsibility to get involved when we can. Jeremy, Jasmine, Jawanza, Biz, Clifton, Kim, the whole crew, all your members, all your leaders, thank you so much for leading the way for so long. And we're really just humbled to be a part of it tonight and to be in this work with you. If there's anyone in New York City, in all of New York State, in the whole world that deserves a permanent home, it's you and the people you organize for. People impacted by the overdose crisis, the war on drugs, hepatitis C, HIV, homelessness, people who are criminalized for being poor. No one deserves a more permanent home than you all do. So my friends here told me that they wanted me to lead us in singing a song to show our support for you all this evening at Vocal. And it's a song we sing to one another when we're on the bus to and from Albany to work with Vocal New York. But we're not gonna sing. We're not gonna sing because I had some serious reservations about how our voices would come across over Zoom. And quite honestly, some serious anxiety and reservations about how my voice would come across over Zoom. And so instead, I just want to leave you with I'll read you the lyrics. And again, this is something that we sing to one another when we're traveling to Albany to meet you all. And it goes like this. Vocal New York is a freedom fighter, and they taught us how to fight. We're gonna fight all day and all night until we get it right. Which side are you on, my people? Which side are you on? We're on Vocal side. Which side are you on, my people? Which side are you on? We're on Vocal side. Thank you so much for including us, and we'll see you out there.
Which side are you on, my people? Which side are you on? We're on the vocal side. Which side are we on, my people? Which side are we on? We're on the vocal side. All right.
We did it for you, Emma.
Emma, thank you so much. The work that you do and the work that you do at Evergreen Health is so important. We really appreciate what you're doing.
Yes. And on that note, I would have to say, Reginald, wouldn't you agree that Vocal does not only build power, but we don't mind sharing power and having power shared with us?
Well, that's it.
Yeah. So swallow that for a moment as we wave to someone who just joined us today, no other than the Deputy Majority Leader of the New York State Democratic Senate Caucus. Let's give a warm, vocal welcome to Senator Mike Gianaris. Senator Gianaris is a very close ally with us on criminal justice issues, housing, and of course, stood up to the largest corporation in the world, Amazon.
Oh,
all on behalf of the people. Yeah, so thank you for joining us.
Who said you can't bring down giants?
Come on.
You know, giants aren't nearly as big as we think they are.
That's right.
Well, at this time, we're going to have a quick 5-minute cocktail break. So refill your glasses and get yourselves comfortable. We will see you shortly. Drink up.
you seem like you be alright. Long as we can get me on it. Know your city, what you used to. Know I ain't exactly what you used to. Know you probably worried what I'm used to. I don't blame you what you supposed to. Last time we fought, I was on that. Now you got me thinking about your on that. Me and you seem like you be alright. Long as we can get me on it. Up for down on. Hold up, she's ready. Leave it too long. Tell me what I had. Really love. You know I'm faded. Heart shape and I love that. I'm here, I'm with it. I can't keep my eyes off your face. Nigga, don't talk about your body. I've been waiting for so long. Girl, you just don't know. No, still thinking through the city with the top down. Shorty got that, show me what you got now. I ain't waiting for tonight, I'm talking right now. Still know my way around with the last time. Shut it down every time you go low. Ain't nobody worried if we on a solo. You know when we creepin', it be alright. I kill it till you tell it's all mine. Know your city, what you used to. Know I ain't exactly what you used to. Know you probably worried what I'm used to. I don't blame you what you talk to.
I'll be more moving fast cause I'm over Honorees. Taking pictures, make sure you can see my face. I get to joy like the man in a safe. I know my way, but you know that I'm not on my way. When I'm outside, please don't make me wait. The party started when we pull it through the gate. Girl, we so lit, I'm just with the crew. We're not here looking super rude. It's a nice day that I'm here. It's a hungry something going on.
that you be calling me, stressing me, paging my beat for you just non-stop. And it's not hot that you be leaving me messages every 10 minutes and then you stop by. When I first met you, you were cool, but it was game, you had me fooled. Cause 20 minutes after I gave you my number, you already had my mailbox full. So what? You bought a pair of shoes, but now I guess you think I owe you. You don't have to call as much as you do. I give them back to me through with you. And so what? I'ma like you. I guess you think I will too. Even if you don't say it like you do, I don't really care 'cause you're a bugaboo. Throw a picture out the window. Tell me if you see I to cut the phone post. Break my lease so I can move. You a bugaboo, a bugaboo, a bugaboo. I wanna put your number on call line. Hey, Bill, make my email stop. You a bugaboo. You bugging what you bugging, how you bugging me? Not hot, then when I'm blocking your phone number, you call me over your best friend's house.
DJ Oscar.
Yes.
Poppy Juice. And you know what? I've been to one of the Poppy Juice parties, and I danced my butt off.
Well, if DJ Oscar was DJing, I can see why.
You know what? We have one final honoree for the night.
Yes.
It is with great reverence that I introduce the first ever Elizabeth Owens Award for Justice.
All right.
The Elizabeth Owens Award for Justice, Compassion, and Love. You know what? Because she was the embodiment of justice, compassion, and love. And it's because of her I'm sitting here. She recruited me after having seen me at various demonstrations around the city. She said, "Why don't you come to a vocal meeting?"
Oh.
And so I did. And that was 10 years ago, and they ain't got rid of me. They can't get rid of me. They can't get rid of me.
I don't think that anyone would want to, Reginald.
Okay, so for many of us, like I said, she embodies what love, compassion, and justice look like. Elizabeth first joined vocal 10 years ago as an outreach worker. You know what? We actually joined. She actually brought me in when she was coming in. She wasn't even doing that, but because that's what she was. She brought me in even before she became an official organizer. But she quickly became a full-time organizer with her exceptional ability to touch lives. She served as a great advocate for her community, dedicating hours knocking on city doors. In fact, by knocking on the city door, that's how she met Jawanta.
Really?
I'm telling you, she's touched people. She has touched people, more people than she will ever know. She's always stepping up, being on the front lines and making sure that everyone felt loved and appreciated. All the time while repping the boogie down Bronx. Famous for always saying, "Thank you for coming to work today."
Oh, yes.
Elizabeth treated everyone as if they were family. Because of this, Vocal expresses her mantra towards our leaders, community, and allies: family for life. Here is a short tribute to the legacy of Ms. Elizabeth Owens. Thank you for coming to work today.
I'm an Afro-American woman, so already I'm being stigmatized because I'm a woman. Then I'm being stigmatized because I have used the drugs. Then they stigmatize me because of the simple fact I don't represent well what they consider a citizen. You know, it's so sad to go through all time changes in your life, like going through a drug program, being homeless, looking for resources and doctors that need to take care of yourself because you want to live, because you want to take care of yourself, and how people are pushing you away like you're nothing. I'm somebody. I want to live. It's a sad thing that people are so scared to mention arm reduction when arm reduction is a part of life to me. If I didn't have arm reduction, I wouldn't be alive today. I've learned so much to sit up there and go back in communities where people are scared to walk in because, oh wow, look, they are a drug user, or they're this, or they're that. They are human beings. They can say, you know, they're somebody's mother, brother, sister. Arm reduction teaches you not to judge. Arm reduction teaches you to listen, to learn. Arm reduction teaches you to find out the answers, what you may need, what you're afraid of. So I feel like this. Instead of being afraid of us, why don't you sit down and just talk with us? Find out what made it, what happened to us, what made us decide that to medicate ourselves, what makes us decide to go to resources that they took out of our communities, and now we have nowhere to go but to be locked up like cage animals. I don't want to be locked up as a cage animal. I'm willing to go back out there and talk to anybody. Please come, ask me. I'm inviting you to meet me. My name is Elizabeth Owens, and I'm from Vocal, New York.
I noticed out there in the street there was a lot of people that was homeless and dying from drugs, from loneliness, just gave up on life, and I sees that every day. A few years later, I decided to go work for an organization that taught me how to advocate for people such as myself that has been homeless, that has been on drugs. Stand up and clap as loud as you can, because we are Vocal New York. So loud, because we are Vocal New York. I want to thank y'all guys for coming out here tonight, because like I said, I'm your sister from another mother. And when I say I bring my family out here to stand by my side, everybody look around, because they're your new family. Look around each other. Remember each other. Because this is family for life. I want to thank y'all so much. Y'all overwhelming me. I came out here tonight. And like I said, any organizer that's in this room that you want to learn more, don't be afraid to go up there and ask for their card if you want to learn more. Because closed mouths don't get fed. It's time for us to build a movement. It's time for us to stand up for Jesus. But you know I'm going to say, all right. To scare the mess out of these people that promise to sit up there and do for us. If we don't say nothing, we okay in what they doing.
We are a family, like a giant tree, branching out toward the sky. We are a family, we are so much more than just you and I. We are a family, like a giant tree, growing stronger, growing wiser. We are growing free. We need you.
It's time for us, anybody that calls me, I know you have my card. Call me, clock in, send somebody to me. Come down the phone bank. Come down to sit there and volunteer to put out flyers. Because this is our world. We help build this community. How dare we sit up there and let somebody say, I'm taking it back from you. So it's time to stand up and fight. Can I get an amen on that? Amen.
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains.
Don't you forget now, I will always love you and thank you for coming to work today.
Wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love.
Thank you so much to our old coworker, Matt Curtis, who put this beautiful video of Elizabeth Owens together for us. Watching that, and really being at the gala tonight, I'm so proud to work at this organization and to build community with everybody that's here tonight. I wanted to shout out my family who are watching the gala for the first time since I've been at Vocal for the last 5 years. And so hi family, you're in Oregon. My name is Paulette Sultani. I'm the political director at Vocal New York. And today I have the pleasure of awarding someone who's incredibly special to me with the first Elizabeth Owens Award for Justice, Compassion, and Love. Almost 5 years ago, I met Miss Flowers while doing outreach and presenting about Vocal at a women's group in Brooklyn. It was clear from the moment that I met her that Miss Flowers was somebody that I had to get to know and bring into the organization. She was and is radiant and charismatic. She was living at a shelter at the time, and I could immediately tell that the women in this group respected her deeply and followed her. A few years later, I was lucky enough to support Ms. Flowers as she confronted Mayor de Blasio at the Park Slope YMCA gym during his morning workout. I think all of you on this Zoom hopefully remember what happened after she did that. The video of Ms. Flowers went viral as she approached Mayor de Blasio, demanded housing for herself and 80,000 homeless New Yorkers that live in New York City. She made the New York Times, she made the cover of the New York Post, and she was on TV across the country. She went on to lead marches and rallies, do civil disobedience, and block the doors of City Hall. She forced elected officials across the city to contend with our homelessness crisis that they had ignored for years. Thanks to her work, we passed a bill that finally forced the city to set aside housing for homeless New Yorkers in city-funded developments. She has truly fueled a movement to end homelessness in this city and across the state, and she's taught so many people what it means to fight for housing justice, and not just for tenants, but to include everybody who doesn't have a home as well. Flowers is larger than life. She's not only courageous and bold, she radiates compassion and love and wisdom. She'll tell you stories of when she was recruited to be a stunt woman for a movie and when she played the first Black Mother Goose in New York City theater. If you need dating advice or a wing person to set you up on dates, she's your girl. If you throw a party, she'll be the first person on the dance floor and she'll drink as many margaritas as you do. And at a moment when the future looks truly uncertain and terrifying, she teaches prayers and affirmations and reminds us to have hope for a better future because she knows it will come if we keep organizing, building power, and building our movement. I am so deeply honored to present the Elizabeth Owens Award for Justice, Compassion, and Love to Ms. Flowers.
Hi, I'm Nathan Flowers Adesegun. Everyone calls me Flowers. I'm so proud to be speaking to all of you at this year's Vocal Gala. I feel I've spent my life fighting for truth and justice. At the March on Washington with Dr. Martin Luther King in 1963, we were fighting for jobs, justice, and housing. And we're still fighting for jobs, justice, and fair housing. However, after that march in 1963 and 1964, we were able to see the Civil Rights Act passed, and we were able to see the Voting Rights Act passed in 1965. And this let us know that when we got together, we could do it. Because it takes people with experience to show others what they themselves cannot see or feel. Until people in power can walk a mile in my shoes or my moccasins, we will always just be those people over there. They always say, identify yourself. I go, I'm Flowers, she, her, them, and you people. I'm one of those, I'm one of you people. But what Vocal New York means to me is that we always have ways to find new things to learn and love about the work we do. Vocal New York is vocal. We speak for those who cannot speak for themselves, who feel voiceless. We take action for those who feel paralyzed by the fear of this machine that's always grinding against us all the time. And most importantly, in the process, we teach people that they can speak too, that they have a voice within, they can march, they can fight. We invite them to join us. We don't turn people away. We invite them in. We help them look inside and find their voice. We are persistent. We never give up. And you must always know that where we're at, we always know, you always know where we're at, so you can call us to help you, or you join us to help each other. I was there in the Capitol June 14th in 2019, watching them pass 8 of 9 bills for housing, for tenants' rights, and for fairness in lease and rent arrangements. We also have stabilized rent and controlled rent here that they've been trying to wipe out for years. It took decades to get to this point. In 3 years, we were able to change the Senate to blue. We were able to change the city council to blue. We voted, and this is what everyone must do. Blood, sweat, and tears counted for our votes, and we must never give it up. I will never not vote. I don't even understand people who say, what for? What for? When we asked our Republican friends, why are you voting for him? They said, oh, we get the judges. And now you know what that means, that we've lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know, they passed those bills, and I lost my apartment when I was evicted from 35 years in my apartment because I lost my preferential rent. This will never happen to another person because of the law that was passed that year. It has changed life for thousands, if not millions of people. And when we joined upstate and downstate so that we could walk together and they can never separate us again, this is how they always want. Long Island would talk against the city would talk about Albany. Well, we're all together now, and we're never going to be separated again. This is also why we are so powerful. Nelson Mandela is an alumnus of my school. We gave him the honorary doctorate in 1983. We've been fighting. They said, no, he can't get it, he's in jail. We said, tell him to let him out of jail to come and get it. He also said, it is only impossible until you do it, whatever it is. Whatever it is, it's only impossible until you do it. I've always been inspired by those who embodied that principle, from Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Nelson Mandela. I saw that spirit when I first got to Vocal New York in Elizabeth Owens. I'm so honored to be receiving this award, to be receiving this award in her honor. When they said, Flowers, we want to honor you, can we honor you? I said, okay, and then she passed. I said, I am going to dedicate this award to Elizabeth. And they said, you are getting the Elizabeth Owens Award. It just floored me. I just like, yes, yes, yes. I couldn't be more pleased or more proud. And I'm sure she's proud of me because she's my mentor. I don't say was, she is my mentor. I will walk with her words every day. I will walk with her, I will walk her walk and talk her talk. It's difficult to imagine what the work will be without her, but it's up to all of us to embody her spirit, which is why I want to share some lessons she taught me throughout the years. She taught me not to judge people, take them where they are, work with them from that. She taught me that each person has their talents, and if you put people where they thrive, that's how you create a winning team. We got She's So Vocal because she says, a bunch of guys over there, come on women, let's go and show them how to do it. We said, okay, thank you, Elizabeth. She taught me to listen. Listening is how we trust. When we trust one another, we go together, we get on the bus, we do the action, and we win the victory. If I'm listening to you, that's how I know, and you know I'm fighting for you. We're going to keep fighting every day to build a world Elizabeth Owens knew was possible. All that she overcame, and at the saying goes, if I can do it, you can do it too. I'm just one person, but together we put the hands together and make fists. To me, that means we need the government to work together to get people the services they need. How do you end homelessness? Put them in permanent housing. Put them in permanent housing. They all have information that can help one another, all these different agencies, but until they hear from us, they aren't interested in solving the problems. We know where the money is. I worked with accountants on Wall Street for 20 years. We need to get them to stop squandering our wealth, stop throwing thousands of dollars per person per month on temporary harmful solutions like shelters, which are dangerous, deadly dangerous. And cops, they need to invest in our communities, have a mental health component for the emergency medical system, and stop asking cops to do all these jobs they're not qualified for. Take them out of our schools. We don't want them there. We need the guidance counselors. We need music. We need phys ed. We need after-school programs from everyone from kindergarten to 12th grade. Kids have to go someplace and be supervised and taught so they can learn their history and know why they want to be successful and why they want to follow you. If you're down in the dumps, why should anybody smile with you? When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. And stop telling us you have no money. We know where the money is. Stop giving rebates to people on Wall Street. Rebates. You're wasting our money. We need to change the 13th Amendment, but actually, and end slavery in this country. I'm a new abolitionist. We should never have people in prison working for major corporations like Lockheed Martin, American Express, and Dell Computers. But when they come out of jail, they can't get that job. They should. It's wrong, and we're going to stop it. You've got people who can't get parole because you don't have any people who've been incarcerated on parole boards. That has to be fixed. And you have to let them out of jail and let them come vote. Only 2 states in our country let you vote because it's a federal right. Okay, now one of the most inspiring moments for me at Vocal was when Councilmember Salamanca called us, me, Elizabeth, Paulette, everyone here, to tell us because of our efforts and our action. When I went and confronted the mayor at the gym, I spoke to him, Paulette took the picture, the video, and Gigi yelled at him when he came outside. So it was a triumvirate, and this is all we need. Put the hands together, make a fist. The council member told us we inspired him because of our action at the gym and confronting the mayor. He was going to fight harder for the homeless, and his bill was passed. His bill was passed that makes a way from shelters to permanent homes. This is what we need. We need solid plans. Stop giving our money to shelter owners to make them richer. In the end, that's what victory looks like. A world where every decision-making space, every board, every hall has people with lived experiences, so we can tell you, this is what we need, and this is what we should do. And this doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm in a shelter, but the woman across the hall from me had lighting fluid, fingernail polish remover thrown on her and lit up. So when they said fire, I said, where? They said, who? Miss Jerry. Right across the hall from me. And what was wrong with this? It was a mental health problem. The woman had done it before. They had been fighting and nobody separated them. There's no logic. So take our advice and listen to what we have to say and make sure you go and change the laws that don't work and don't work for all of us. You don't know what to do, how to get it, call me. I'll do it. I'm happy to fight for this world with all of you, that we can do it. Because united we stand, with divided we fall. And we don't ever want to change. We want to keep our united front, take the money and the land we have, build for ourselves, and then realize when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. We are the world. We are the peoples. We are the ones to make a better world. So let's start giving.
Power forever.
Hey, Jawanza, can you guys hear me? Hi, everyone. We're coming towards the end of the gala. I want to thank everyone for joining tonight. My name is Jessica Brown, and I'm proud to be the Director of Development at Vocal New York. It's so great that you guys took a moment to celebrate with us tonight. Sincerely, thank you. It's been a long year. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of highs and lows, but we are so thankful for the generosity of our donors, the safety of our allies and our comrades, and honestly, the support from our members and community. Thank you. And a huge thank you to all of you who donated and helped raise money for this gala tonight in support of our capital campaign as we pursue a permanent home for justice, love, and compassion. With your help, we've raised over $85,000 already, which is amazing. Amazing in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of such uncertainty for us all. You guys have shown up for us, we've shown up for each other, and we're just so appreciative. I can't wait until we can celebrate together in person. And, you know, I know a lot more work to be done, but we truly could not have come this far. I hope you guys can see the ad screen, and we just want to take a moment to definitely thank all of our sponsors, all of our generous individual donors, everyone who contributed to tonight. I personally want to take a moment to thank all of the event staff, all of vocal staff in general. It's truly been a village collaboration. It's truly been just like a community collaboration. And so just want to thank everyone for making tonight a success. We still have a few more items to go through, but enjoy the slideshow.
Hey everyone, while our video slideshow plays, I thought I'd just move myself up in the agenda just to quickly talk to you all about our capital campaign. So I just need to pull up something for myself here. Perfect. So if you don't know me, my name is Jawanza James Williams. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the Director of Organizing at Vocal New York, but also a member of Vocal, as was mentioned earlier when we were talking about Elizabeth, our beloved Elizabeth, who passed away recently. So I know what it's like to be a part of this organization as a member, and understanding the importance of having a place to come to where I found community, where I found a sense of my own power, and also not just my individual power, but power with other people. So I just wanted to reground us. I think we heard beautifully from Flowers about the sort of comprehensive nature of this work, the comprehensive nature of our leadership and of our membership, and of the work that the organization does. We all watched a deeply disturbing presidential debate last night, the first of 3. And honestly, I think I can speak for all of us when I say that these folks are not representing us. These folks are not grounded and rooted in the realities of what our people are experiencing, what their constituents are experiencing, and what folks that Vocal New York serve, who we organize for and with, they don't represent us. And I think that it's critical that in these increasingly fascist times that we are intentional about the power that we are building. We are crystal clear that we have to build political power. We have to be all engaged in organizations. If you yourself are not a part of a progressive, leftist, in my opinion, power building organization, as a dues paying member, as a person actively involved in transforming our world and our hands up in defense of democracy and in defense of humanity, and I think you need to seriously reconsider what you're doing. Join Vocal, become a sustaining member here, because we have to build powerful institutions that can challenge the hegemonic power of the billionaire class, that can challenge the hegemonic power of white supremacists, of white nationalists, of the growing Nazi movement, not just in the United States, not just in New York State, but across our planet. The only way that we're going to be able to respond is not to convince people that we are total and full and loving and deserving human beings, but we're going to have to be able to protect ourselves and demand what our people deserve. So that brings me to my point. We have to leave this building. We are literally experiencing the issues of gentrification in real time at this office. And we also serve people in Brooklyn who need life-saving harm reduction services. So we are a fixture in this community, not just politically, but immediately in terms of medical health care. We provide healthcare services for people all across the city, and especially in this community in Brooklyn. And that work must continue. We all see how the overdose crisis is growing because of COVID-19, because of the incompetence of the leader of this state, Governor Andrew Cuomo, and also of just the masses of people that don't understand that the drug war is racist and classist and is functioning exactly the way that it was intended to when it was launched in 1970s. So we are launching a capital campaign. This $85,000 that you have all so generously provided this organization will be going directly towards us securing a permanent building. So we do have a place to go to. It's at 300 Douglas, which is just around the corner from here. And we can continue providing our direct services and creating a safe space for our membership to thrive, to become as politically conscious and in-depth as we need in our future, and to continue advancing our campaigns and have immediate, concrete, and material impacts on people's lives, like our homelessness work, like our drug users union work, like our civil rights union work, and like our positive leaders union, where we're fighting for AIDS housing across this state. And we can't do that if we're not housed ourselves. The plan, our initial step is a $1.5 million renovation that will begin this winter. We will move in the spring, and then we need to purchase this property. So essentially we're trying to raise around $6 million over the next 3 years. So we're gonna be at this for some time, but every dollar counts, because I don't wanna speak specifically about the political situation that we found ourselves in most recently after the mentioned Occupy City Hall, because we are taking care of each other. And you are the ones that we're going to lean on, as we wish that you lean on to us. And so that work has to happen. And so we hope that you will continue to support our organization, that you will help it make it possible for us to have a permanent home, which is to say, to make a down payment for the future that we all actually deserve. So with that, I need to definitely turn to our next speaker, someone that I really have to honor, because she herself, through her own art, raised us thousands upon thousands of dollars. I want to say $75,000. And that is none other than the phenomenal Nan Golding, photographer, AIDS activist, Sackler Payne founder, who we've stood in community with and in action with at the Guggenheim, at many other museum spaces, calling for a reclamation of the truth, calling for the power that we actually deserve, so that we can not only save lives, but improve those lives and actually transform our society to where these kinds of crises, like the overdose crisis, are relics of a barbaric past. So with that, I want to push over to the wonderful Nan Golding. My cameraman over there, I think, may have forgotten that they were my cameraman. Okay.
There you go.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to be invited to be part of the Vocal community. It's the organization I respect and admire the most. And I'm excited that I was able to raise money for you and your new home, but most of all, to stand with you on the streets. When it comes to organizing against the racist and classist war on drugs, Vocal New York has been our North Star. I started a direct action group called PAIN 3 years ago, born out of my own addiction to OxyContin, to address the overdose crisis and stigma of drug users and advocate for harm reduction. I'm happy to be here with a lot of the members of PAIN and our other group, Oxy Justice. We organized to fight Big Pharma and the Sackler family who developed Oxy and sold their drugs like the best cartels. Robert, Fred, Jasmine, and Jeremy came to some of the first meetings in my living room, way back when we planned our very first action at the Met Museum. Vocal has joined us in all our direct actions at museums and have been the most powerful voices in our speakouts. You were our teachers, and you continue to be. We've joined Vocal to fight on the ground for New Yorkers to get access to medication, safe consumption sites, expand Medicare, and demand an end to homelessness. We carried a safe consumption site with you to the governor's office and got arrested with you to expand MAT. Our very first Narcan training and education on harm reduction took place at Vocal's old home. I want to remember Elizabeth, who always said, "Give me a hug." PAIN answered Vocal's call and joined them for the first nights of the occupation at City Hall and their fight to defund the police and educate a wider public on social justice. We became new abolitionists. We so admire Vocal because of their deep understanding of what it means to be intersectional and intergenerational, which is very important to me personally. It's so admirable and unfortunately unusual that the voices of the elders of Vocal are so well heard and respected. I've been a well-known artist for 40 years, and I've been able to use my public visibility to speak truth to power. My strongest suit is raising money to support the organizations I live in by selling my art. I'm proud that I was able to raise $80,000 for Vocal this summer to hopefully afford them a permanent home. It's so important for them, for us, and for the whole community. I'm deeply honored to be able to stand by your side in this fight. Thank you.
All right. Yes, 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 yes. Wow, as an elder in Vocal, I want to thank you, Joanza. I am so proud of you. Thank you. And I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. Yes, let me back up. Nan, thank you so much for what you're doing with your art. You are actually putting your art to work for us. We really appreciate that. And Joanza, thank you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much to everyone who's able to join us this evening. Our program is coming to a close, but it is important to emphasize how important your donations have been in our fight. Your donations have been in our fight. Your donations, our fight. Through individual donations and organizational sponsorships, we are one step closer to starting our new chapter. Please remember to spread the word about our capital campaign, the work that we must continue to do. The struggle has not stopped. The struggle has not stopped. It's changed clothes, but the struggle has not stopped, and neither have we. Vocal will be around for a very long time, and I know that the ancestors now are looking at what Vocal has done through us, and that they're saying, good job, keep going, because we're standing on their shoulders so that those who come after us can stand on our shoulders.
Yes. And thank you so much, all of you, for making this evening possible. Before we officially end the gala for the evening, we would like for everyone to make a toast with us. So please grab your drink, and if your glass is empty, fill it up. Speaking of which, well,
don't worry, we're gonna get ours.
Yes, we will get ours. So get your glass, fill it up, And we toast in the honor of our comrades laid to rest. We toast in reverence of our proud and faithful allies. We toast towards a brighter future, a permanent home of justice, compassion, and love. Woo! Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So may you all go with joy and peace, and although
and love.
Yes,
And
and
love.
love. And although our virtual gala is over, a few of our staff members would like to invite everyone to an informal gala after party, vocal New York style at Mount Prospect Park. Please bring your own booze and commune safely. Have a good night.
And you get there by taking anything to Grand Army Plaza or the Brooklyn Museum, which would be the 3, 4, and 5. So come join us.
Yes.
And the two. So come join us.
And stick around for the closing video.
Yes.
You don't want to miss it.
Don't go nowhere.
All righty.
All right, you did it.
Yes. Woo!
I'm Nathylin Flowers, Adesegun. Everybody calls me Flowers, and I'm with the Homeless Union.
So my name is Felix Guzman. I am part of the Homeless Union and also the Civil Rights Union. The Homeless Union does a lot of work around policy work to assure that everyone in New York State will be able to have a home.
How do you cure homelessness? Put people in permanent homes.
And the Civil Rights Union, they do a lot of work around justice involvement and those folks that have justice involvement.
My name is Jacinta Erno. So I'm part of the Civil Rights Union. I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge world news and the current events that's happening around us. Say her name, say his name, and in honor of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. That was a moment in my life that I really had to reevaluate what am I doing to either make change or be the change.
I'm Asia Betancourt. I'm part of the Users Union. Myself having lived experience at a very young age and being able to still be here, that I didn't overdose, that I'm still alive, and that I'm still able to help the next one is what it's all about. Meeting them where they're at, not leaving them there ever.
Yeah, my name is Will Robertson. I represent the Users Union, people that use drugs. We advocate for them. Go up to Albany, try to get the legislature to change some laws. So this way, you can save some lives. That's the bottom line. We're trying to save lives. You know?
That's the main thing about Vocal. It helps save lives. It's extremely important for Vocal to have a permanent residence because it allows people the ability to have somewhere that they know they can go.
I think it's important for everyone to have a permanent home, and Vocal does the work to actually assure that that's a possibility.
A permanent home because we're the voice. We're the voice for the community.
We all know that Black and brown people are absolutely singled out, called out. We're at a place where we're finally talking about it.
Our skin color is not a crime. And as a mother, and looking and listening to George Floyd, he called for his mom. That to me was a call to action, a summons.
I have been doing this work for over 35 years. And when I came to Vocal, I felt like I was home.
Vocal has helped me realize that it's not over.
We're working in partnership, not in opposition. We're working in solidarity to continue to be the conduit of change.
I'm a member leader, and what they've done for me has been revolutionary in my life, evolutionary for me. I'm a lot of labels in society: formerly incarcerated, formerly homeless, addict and alcoholic, and mentally ill. I'm all of those, but when I am part of the Vocal actions, I'm a leader, a member, and I get a chance to shine. And from a place of not ego, but love, I am proud of myself for where I am and for the ability to represent community in these spaces, and I hold those identities proudly.